Hi friends, in this video we are going to have a look at implicit weights in Selenium, and as usual I would be using Java as my platform. Okay, so before I move ahead, let me just show you the code that I've already written down. Okay, so first things first, I'm using test-ng, right, to drive my test cases, and over here I have written few setup steps, and in those setup steps I am just initializing my WebDriver. I am using Edge driver and I'm using Bonnie Garcia's WebDriver manager to initialize this. Okay, then I've added in a page load timeout so that if my page load takes a longer period of time, it gets timed out in 20 seconds, and then I'm maximizing the window. All right, and in my test case section, the only thing I'm doing is I'm getting the Internet Heroku app site, and then I'm searching for some random element, or rather an element which does not exist at all. Okay, so let me first just run this particular piece of code. Okay, and then we move into implementing the implicit wait and have a little discussion on it. Okay, all right, fine. My script executed, it opened the website, and then immediately it failed the test case because we were not unable to locate this particular element, because this does not exist at all. Okay, and I got no such element exception. Cool. Now, what does implicit wait do and how do we use it? First thing, let's look at the way of using implicit wait. In order to use implicit wait, you just need to type in the following syntax. So do a driver dot manage dot timeouts again dot implicitly wait, and it takes in two arguments. First one is the maximum amount of time that you want to wait. So I would give here 20. Okay, and then like it asks you for the time unit. So this particular value, the value that you put in as the first argument, what does this stand for? Or rather I should say, how do you want Selenium to interpret it? So I want it to be interpreted as time unit dot seconds. So I want Selenium to wait for 20 seconds. And when should it wait, right? So it would wait every time it tries to find a particular element. In other words, it would wait every time we do a find element operation. And not just find element, it would also wait if we do a find elements operation. But in that case, it would only wait until it has found the first element of the find elements operation. Let's say if I'm doing a find elements and I'm expecting that I would get 10 elements in return, but we get only one element, right? So even when we have got that one particular element and we haven't got the rest, it will consider that yeah, we have got at least one element, so the wait would be over and it will just move on with the executions without throwing any exception. Okay, so yeah, let's run this once and look at it. So while running this, I would actually run a stopwatch, right, when the page loads, so that we can have some semblance of how much time it actually waited for, right? So let's just run this, and I have got my stopwatch already ready. Start. All right, so around 20 seconds. Okay, so with that we can conclude that Selenium waited for 20 seconds before throwing us the no such element exception, and that is all there is to implicit wait, right? All right, so before I close this video, there are a few things that we must keep in mind while using implicit wait. First thing is that this is a global wait, right? So this would be associated with your driver. In other words, this would be applicable automatically to every find element or find elements operation that is done with the help of this particular driver instance that you have associated the implicitly wait to. Okay, so first thing, this is a global wait. What's the next thing that you must keep in mind? Second thing that you must keep in mind is that you should never, and I repeat, you should never mix implicit wait and explicit wait. Why? Because when if you do so, you are liable to get weird outcomes. And by weird, I mean totally bonkers outcomes. Right? For example, you could have a certain scenario wherein you have an implicit wait of, say, 10 seconds and an explicit wait of, say, 5 seconds. But when you are actually running the script and when Selenium tries to find an element, it waits for a max of around 20 seconds, not 15, like not 10 or 5, 20 seconds. And it can even be something like when you are trying to find the particular element, Selenium has actually found the element, but still it waits for a certain period of time, and that is greater than the sum of implicit and explicit. So yeah, avoid using implicit and explicit wait together. And again, this is not something that happens every time Selenium does a find element, but on certain occasions it might happen or it might not happen, right? So your execution time has got the potential of increasing exponentially. So I would say do not use implicit and explicit wait together ever, right? So never use implicit and explicit waits together. Okay. And yeah, and when I'm saying implicit wait, I mean both WebDriver implicit wait and fluent wait, right? Either of them should not be used with implicit wait. Okay. Now, next thing is actually a tidbit of information, right? You would rarely be using implicit wait in any of your frameworks, but you might be using this when you are doing some experimentation or when you are just playing around with a website or when you are using doing some prototype work on it. All right. And yeah, that was about all for implicitly wait. It is pretty simple that way. And yes, thanks for watching. And if you have some comments or if you have any suggestion for future videos, please do let me know in the comment section. Thanks and hope you have a wonderful day.